Hello and welcome back to the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunities Office of Minority Economic Empowerment and the Illinois SBDC Network's Business Basics Series. Quickly, what is the Business Basics Series? It is a collaboration between the Illinois OMEE Office, the Office of Minority Economic Empowerment, and the Illinois Small Business Development Center Network. The intention is for us to cover some of those basic and foundational topics that entrepreneurs need to know and understand in order to be successful. And each of these presentations are short and sweet. You can feel free to rewatch as many times as you like. That's the beauty of it. A little bit more about the Office of Minority Economic Empowerment. We are committed to providing minorities, women, persons with disabilities, and veterans with the support they need in order to be successful. Much of the work that we do is through targeted partnerships, targeted outreach, dynamic partnerships, and tailored programming to help create that more inclusive ecosystem so that everybody in our state can grow. We have a great team working to provide that support. We'll share that contact information a little later. And today, we have an amazing presentation to add to our Business Basics series. We're very honored to have the Black Chamber of Commerce of Southern Illinois President, Chastity Mays, as well as the Illinois SBDC at SIU Carbondale's consultant, Yemisi Anderson, joining us today to talk about something very, very important: how to vend at a pop-up event or a marketing and outreach event. There's a way to do it right, and we have two experts here to help us better understand how to put yourself in position to succeed. And I will start by introducing our sister, Chastity Mays, from the Black Chamber of Commerce of Southern Illinois.
Thank you, Matt. So my name is Chastity Mays, and I am the current president of the Black Chamber of Commerce of Southern Illinois. And this information that we are about to share came out of the Black Business survey event that Matt came down to Carbondale to present to us. And we found out that people needed like basic business information. And one of the things that we found out from the very beginning, when we started to do our expo events, when we started to do our pop-up events for entrepreneurs, was that entrepreneurs needed help and information about how to vend at different types of events. So I'm really happy today that we are able to hold this class. And I feel like Yemisi has so much good information. And I have just a little bit to add to that. So as you can see, I've named this the basics of vendor events. So I also own a nonprofit organization. It is called A Gift of Love Charity, and we have an urban farm. We have been selling at farmers markets. Oh my gosh, honestly, we've been selling so long, I don't even know how long. It's definitely over 10 years that we have been selling at farmers markets and different vendor events. Right now, the main thing that we have is herbal tea. Sometimes we'll have vegetables and different other products that we grow, but mostly we stick to herbal tea products. And definitely we learned some of the things that I will talk about today over time. Just going to the events, learning different things from other vendors, and just learning as you go is one of the things you will find. But today we did want to offer you just some basic things that you will find at vendor events. I do want you to take a look at these slides because I feel like these two ladies, their table pops out at you, especially the picture on the left. She has a service where she decorates different like weddings is her main event that she does, but she's like a decorating event planner. So if you take a look at her table, I feel like I would want her to be an event planner for my wedding because she has a huge table. She has a beautiful display. She has the flowers. She has the flowers behind her, a whole entire setup behind her. So this is going to cause me to want to go to her table. It's eye-catching. And then if you take a look, she's smiling, she's friendly. That will make me want to approach her table. She has her brochures laid out. She has other information that makes you aware of what her business is and what she does. And then if you take a look on the right-hand side, this picture is a paparazzi vendor, and she always comes with a huge display. She has created a specific, um, like her husband has built her these displays that you see, but she needs to be able to do that because she's selling jewelry. So if we're not able to see the jewelry, the way she has it displayed right in front, and also you see her tablecloth, it tells you who she is. She's a paparazzi vendor. It has her name on there. So this is something that you always want to keep in mind when you are at vendor events. You want to have a welcoming table. If I walk up to your table and you literally have dirt all over the table and you're just standing there or sitting down, which I see a lot at vendor events, I'm more than likely just going to walk right past your table. So these are things you have to think about when you have a business and you are selling at different events. Next slide, please.
And great start. I do just want to say that this is not us endorsing any organization like paparazzi. This is us presenting best practices for vendor setups.
Yes, thank you. So I did want to talk about event logistics. So the first thing that I need everybody to understand is all events are different. Some of them may require things of you before you even get there. So I'm just going to start at the very beginning. So I have a business. I want to think about starting to go to different events. So when I sign up for an event, which nowadays usually it's online, right? So you're going to have an email or a form that you're going to fill out, and it's going to have information on it. Please read all the information when it comes to vending for an event, because what I find is that people start and they don't understand that sometimes you have to have your own insurance to vend at an event. So there is vendor insurance. You need to shop around insurance agencies and see what type of insurance you need to have for specifically for vendor events. There are some times that you have to have a specific type of insurance to go to a specific event. Other times you might be able to just have your own business insurance that you have. So it just depends. Something that we have to do as going to farmers markets, on top of having vendor insurance, we have to have special certification from our health department in order to sell our herbal teas. On top of that, at farmers markets, you're able to buy things with link. We have to have a special certification in order to accept link payments. On top of that, you have senior WIC coupons. We have to have a certain certification to be able to accept those. So there's different requirements for different types of businesses, and it's really important that you understand what type of paperwork, what type of insurance, what type of certifications do you have to have for your specific type of business. My suggestion would be that you seek out other vendors like you. So if you know there are other vendors selling dried herbs, for example, go to them and ask them, what did you need to do in order to have your business out here selling at this event? So you will come across other people doing the same thing that you're doing, and kind of ask them to be your mentor, or ask them if they're willing to answer those questions for you. Another thing you could always do is talk to the event organizers. They know exactly what you need because they have to have everything correct in order to have this event. So they're going to know what type of licenses you need, what type of insurance you need. They'll know all that information. So please make sure that you do that. You do not want to sign up for an event, you get there, and you don't have everything you need. So make sure you do that first. Another thing that I'm going to stress over and over and over again is please be on time to your events. If the event is from 4 to 8 p.m., Setup, usually for vendors, you usually have to be set up an hour ahead of time. It depends on when those doors open. Be there as early as you possibly can, especially when you're first starting out. There might be things that you forget. So if you're close to home, you might be able to run home. Let's say you forgot your ice or you forgot your straws, you might be to run to the store. So be on time. Get your setup set up. Make sure you have everything that you need together. I don't know about you, but the earlier I am, the better, because that gives me time to sit down, relax, get myself together, grab a bite to eat before the event starts. It makes you feel less rushed and ready for the crowd when they get there. So please, please be on time for your events. Make lists. Please make a list. So when you have a business, there are certain things that you need in order to go to these vendor events. Examples are going to be, you're going to want a tablecloth with your logo and your information on it. You're definitely going to want your business cards because everyone's going to ask you for them. Believe me, everyone's going to ask for a business card. You're definitely going to need, how do you display your products? Do you have a stand that you display them on? Do you just have your table? Do you have boxes? What is it that you need? Most people who attend vendor events have bins ready. They have things in the bins the night before or 2 days before. You're going to go through those bins. You're going to make sure you have everything you need. An example for the urban farm is we have herbal tea and we also have fresh tea at the table, right? So that means we're going to need straws, we're going to need sample cups, we're going to need cups, we're going to need lids, we're going to need gloves. So all of these things is the list that you make. And the night before or 2 days, whatever you do, you're going to go down your list and make sure you have everything you need where it needs to be. A suggestion I'll tell you to have is, along with those bins, if you have a wagon, you have everything in one place. Super easy for you. Get out the car, load your wagon, get your product in, and make sure you just have everything together. It's really important. Something else I'm going to tell you about is customer service. When I tell you it's so important, you are your product, you are your brand. So, first of all, you don't want to just be sitting down the entire time on your phone texting with your head down, not engaging with the crowd, just sitting there. You want to be standing up, you want to be smiling. As people walk by your table, you can say good morning or good afternoon. How are you today? Not even that they're stopping at your table, it's just common courtesy. And what you'll find is that if you do that, there will be people who will stop at your table. They'll ask you about your products. Please be knowledgeable about your products. I know for us, it's a little bit different because we actually grow the product. So we know what these different plants are. We know the medicinal benefits, but we also have books out on the table. So we have medicinal books out on the table. Someone might ask you a question and off the top of your head, you don't know what's good for diabetes, for example, but you want to know your product. If you don't know your own product, why would somebody buy from you? So it's super important for you to understand that you need to know your product, know how it tastes. Most people are going to ask, like, which one is your favorite? And you're going to throw that out there. So be able to interact with your customers. Really, honestly, what you'll find is that you sell your product. The product doesn't always just sell itself. So you have to always keep that in mind. Make sure that you keep your area clean. So people don't want to see your teacup sitting here, your lunch over here, trash wrappers everywhere. Keep your area tidy. You have a table, you have tablecloths, you have bins. So keep everything tidy and everything in the area that it's supposed to be in. So if you take a look at this slide right here in this picture, she's got everything lined up neatly. She does baking products, but everything's lined up neatly. We don't have trash through everywhere. Something else that you see about this, I think that's kind of nice sometimes if you're able to do this, you have your own t-shirts. So if you take a look, they all have the same t-shirt on. So they're uniform. You don't have to think about what you're going to wear when at the vendor event. You have your own logo, you have your own information, and that's just a way to advertise yourself too. So as you're going around at this event yourself, people are going to see your t-shirt and know that you're one of the vendors, might even talk to you about your product. And then next up, so you're done with the vending event. You go home. First of all, you know what product you took. So now it's time for you to look and see how much of that particular product did you sell. Then you know how to prepare for future events. So you might have took peppermint tea and it's completely sold out. So that means it's time for you to get ready for your next event. You have to get that product back in stock. So all of these things that you did for this event, now you're planning for future events when you're completely done with this event. So this lineup really just tells you, in my mind, I just thought, how can you start from the very beginning to the very end? And these are things that I'm going to tell you I learned along the way. One thing I want to add is if you are able to have samples for your products, please do that. That draws people to your table. So sometimes people will come up and they'll see your products and they'll look at them and they'll just be like, "Oh, I'm not sure." But if you have a sample for them to try, you know your product is good. 90% of the time, if they try your sample, they're going to end up buying from you. So I know people who have, especially herbal tea fresh, of course, you can use a sample of that. I know people who do like soaps and lotions, they have little samplers on their table. So people can smell it, people can rub it on their skin. That works sometimes. People who have candles usually have a top that people can smell that draws people in and want to buy that candle. Any type of sample that you can make for your product draws people to your table, allows them to try your product. They will end up loving it, and then the product will sell itself. So make sure you keep that in mind. Next slide, please. So I just had a little bit of information for you about vendor events. I know Yemisi has some more information and I feel like Yemisi attends bigger events than we do. We mostly just go to farmers markets and that's just our personal thing we do. So I know Yemisi has more information for you. I did want to leave you with this slide. This has all our contact information on it, and it also tells you about our Black Expo 2024, which will be held Saturday, February 10th. It is at the Carbondale Civic Center from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Last year, the Black Expo was a very good event. It was huge. It's a place for vendors to be able to sell their products. We had free headshots last year. We had all types of different things going on with the expo. So it was really nice. Black Chamber of Commerce of Southern Illinois has an Instagram account. We also have a Facebook account. You can contact us at our email address, and we have a website. So these are all the ways you can get in touch with us. This vending event is open to any vendors. And if you have any questions or any comments or anything, you can reach out to us. And thank you very much.
And I will pass it to Sister Yemisi Anderson, who is a consultant with the Small Business Development Center at Southern Illinois University at Carbondale.
All right, thank you. Are you able to see my screen? All right, awesome. All right, so today I'm going to be sharing some of the same information that Chastity shared with you all, discussing how to prepare for vending events. All right, so just a little bit about myself. My name is Yemisi Anderson, and I am a business owner and advisor at the Small Business Development Center. I'm a wife and mom. And so there's a lot of things going on. And so getting organized to prepare for vending events is super important, especially when you are toting around 3 small children. And so the tips and tools that I will share with you today is some things that I have just learned along the way through my own business experience and also just working with other small businesses. All right. So when you're considering preparing for a business, a vending event, you want to think about what impression you're going to leave. When you do vending events, what do you want your customers to know about you? You obviously want them to know about your product and service, right? You want them to know what products people enjoy. I'll get all the time, oh, what's your top selling product? You want to know that information. What's unique about your product? Maybe it's organic, maybe it's free from chemicals, maybe it's great for dry skin. Whatever the unique qualities of your product is, you want to be sure that your customers or potential customers know about that. You also want to be able to express where people can find your product if they can't purchase the day of. One of the things I hear a lot of times, people will come to the table and they'll say, oh, where can I find you? You know, maybe they can't afford it that day, but they want to buy it later. If you're a product, you have your product in stores, you want to be able to do that. Maybe you have a website, an e-commerce store or something, you want to have something to direct the traffic to there. Or maybe you have a list of upcoming events. Maybe you only sell your product at vending events, so you want to have a list of upcoming events where they can find you. Think about your appearance. I know sometimes, you know, we like to just be comfortable, and that's perfectly fine. I promise pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, comfort is a thing. You are used to lounging around the house, but you want to think about your appearance when you're going to events. How are you dressed, and is your brand represented? Like Chastity said, maybe you just have a shirt with your business logo on it. That makes it easy. I have our business shirts in a specific drawer. When it's event time, we go to that drawer and get our shirts out. We don't have to think about it. I don't have to question, is this clean? Is that clean? It's all in one spot. And your presence, are you welcoming? Did you acknowledge people when they're approached? One thing, if somebody walks up to your table, you never greet them. Even if you're busy with another customer, being able to stop and say, hey, how are you doing? I see you, I'll be with you in a second. Or just acknowledging their presence at your table will, one, help them not to just walk right past you, and maybe be more willing to come back even if they can't stop right then and there. A lot of times people, you know, how you make them feel is important. If you make them feel like they're not important or make them feel like you don't have time for them, they will walk away from your table. Again, that stopping and acknowledging them makes a big difference. Some do's and don'ts. Keep your mind on these things as you prepare for an event. Do price your product appropriately. Sometimes entrepreneurs are scared to price their product. Don't do that. Go ahead and put the price on there. Do your research. Make sure it's priced appropriately. People love a deal or a special event price. So maybe you're doing a special event, like they're getting ready to do the Black Business Expo. Maybe they have like a special expo customer code or something like that. That's going to be great for customers because, oh, I love a deal. You know, they want to feel like something is special, right? You don't want to price yourself out of the market or price yourself so low that you don't make a profit. Both of those things are bad, right? You don't want something so expensive that nobody can afford it, but you don't want something so cheap that you don't even make money for your business. That just doesn't make sense. Do send them away for something, with something. Even if they don't purchase your product, you want to ensure you have a business card or a little information card or maybe a brochure or whatever it is. Don't let people who are genuinely interested in your business, don't let people that are genuinely interested in what you're doing walk away without anything in their hand. Don't be overly aggressive. It's very easy when you get into sales to be very aggressive, but that can kind of scare people away. It can be a kind of a turn away. And so you want to be mindful of that as you're doing vendor events. Have a way to capture leads, whether it's a sign-up sheet, a QR code for your mailing list, or things like that. But if you are going to have a way to capture leads, you want to make sure that you follow up with them. Make sure that you send them an email or you give them a call back. I get people a lot of times will have samples of stuff and they'll go, oh, I want the recipe. And so I'll jot their name down and then afterwards make sure that I do message them to give them that information. Sell yourself. A lot of times people don't buy your product, they buy why you're doing it. They buy your company. So tell people what you're doing, why you're doing it. Tell them who you are and your why. Most of the time when you see us have vending events, you're going to see my whole family because we're a family-owned business and it ain't always easy to find childcare, okay? And so people see our family and they ask us questions, but they see the people. And then when they're asking us, you know, what does our name mean or things like that, we're able to talk to them and they just get excited about that. And they'll support us just because of those things. And so people buy your why, so go ahead and tell them your story. Inventory at events. So one of the biggest mistakes that you can make, I feel like, especially starting out, is taking your entire inventory with you to events. You do not have to take the entire inventory with you. Sometimes having less can be a good thing. I promise you, like, it is okay to sell out at an event. And in fact, it kind of feels good. If you only take so much of your inventory, when you get done and you're like, oh my God, I sold out of that. That's really exciting and kind of boosts the endorphins a little bit, right? And gets you amped up for the next thing that you do. If you take a whole bunch of products and you only sell 2, it kind of doesn't feel as good. So you want to be mindful about that. Do inventory counts before an event. Know how much inventory you actually took to that event so that afterwards, maybe you lost track of sales because things get a little busy. You can kind of go back to those notes and say, this is how much inventory I left with. This is how much inventory I came back with. And this is how I can kind of backtrack my numbers. Think about your packaging and labeling of your product. You don't want something so generic that it just has no meaning. One of the simplest things you can do is literally get a stamp with your logo on it. Even if you just have a brown paper bag, put your logo on that. Stamp your products. Again, you build a brand when you're doing these types of events. Again, consider special day of discounts. Now, I'm not one to just advocate discount, because I promise you, if people can, they're going to get a deal out of you. So don't feel obligated to have a discounted price, but it ain't hurting nothing either, okay? One of the things that we do for our own business, because we sell a line of products, we have it where if you buy the set, you save some money. And even for that, people like, oh, okay, I'm willing to do that. Again, people like to feel like they save some money. I know I like feeling like I got to save some money. So, all right. So use what you've learned from previous events to plan for future events. So what things went well during that event? What opportunities, what upcoming events do you have opportunities to participate in? What ways can you improve on the next opportunity? And what things would limit you from participating in future events? So things that went well, okay, maybe we touched base with a whole lot of customers, or maybe something you can improve on. Oh, I didn't have trash bags with me this time. I want to make a little note to make sure I have trash bags with me the next time. Or, oh my gosh, I forgot the spoons to give out my samples. That's mine. I always forget spoons. I don't know how I always forget spoons. How are people going to eat things? But maybe I always take a notepad with me. Whatever event I do, I take a notepad so that I can jot down notes. I forgot this time, or things that would make an event easier. So when I first started doing events, maybe I didn't have an extension cord. Well, now I put a note down because I needed an extension cord. So little things like that you can take notes for. And then again, people during vendor events, people will always come up and say, oh, we got this event coming up or this. And so you can make notes of those upcoming events because maybe you want to participate in them. Do not feel the need to participate in every event somebody tell you about. You will burn out real fast if you're doing something all of the time. So do not say yeah. Your no is going to become your best friend. So if you don't know how to say no now, learn how to say no, okay? All right. Branding. Any vending event is an opportunity to build your brand. Think about the aesthetics at your table. How do your customers feel when they come to your booth? So like Chastity was sharing about her, they have like a herbal tea business. When you go to their booth, it tends to be very clean. They have you'll see plants, you'll see different herbs, you'll see that aesthetics at that table, and it matches their brand of their company, right? And so whatever you're doing, like if you have a boho type of thing, maybe you have specific colors at your table. For me, I have a food-based business, so typically I got food, or maybe there might be a cutting board, or just things that kind of fit the aesthetics of what I am telling people about. You want to, again, like she said, have your logo on display, your tablecloths, your t-shirts, any banners or signage, maybe the bags that you hand out. All of these things are things that you can put your brand on, because here's the thing, even if people are walking away from your table and they got your product in their hand, having that branded thing going, people, oh, what's in that bag? Or they'll start to recognize it. And the more time people can see your product or your image, it's going to help to grow your business. So you want to get all them touch points. It's just like Amazon, okay? You see Amazon boxes, you know that dang on box, all right? You gonna see it. So you're building that recognition for your business as well. Time is money. She already told y'all to be on time, so here I am to preach it again. Be on time. Be where you say you are going to be, and be early, not just on time. I was always taught, if you're early, you're on time. If you on time, you late. If you late, you fired, okay? We ain't got time for that. So be on time. Be brief and informative. Sometimes you can talk a little too much. You ain't got to think about, again, you are constantly pitching your business to people, right? 30 seconds, all right? Tell them about your product and keep moving. And it's not that you're rushing them off, but you don't want to get so stuck on one customer that you're missing 10 customers because you don't know how to condense that down. So maybe you practice your spiel before you get to events. Practice what you're going to say and be consistent in that so that it'll kind of help. And sometimes it's going to be personal connections. You're going to be able to talk to somebody, connect with them about your family or things like that, and that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, just be mindful about what you're sharing with people. Vendor fair checklist. So one of the things before any vendor fair or event is to have a checklist to help you get organized the day of. Go through that checklist a week before the event, a few days before the event, and a night before an event. Maybe I'm going to stop this share if I can figure out how to. And I am going to share this vendor checklist. Let's see. I'm going to figure it out. All right. Okay. Can y'all see that? Good. Okay. So this is just a quick vendor fair checklist. It is not an end all be all of checklists by any means. It's just a way to kind of get you thinking about what things you might need at an event. So of course, for your table, if the event, sometimes vendors, organizers will provide a table. Sometimes they don't. So you got to make sure you have a table with you. Maybe they provide chairs. Maybe they don't. You want to have chairs. I always recommend, now hear me when I say this, have a tablecloth, because it is nothing like being at, especially a more upscale event, and your table just look janky. You don't know what condition them tables gonna look like. They might have stains on them. You don't want that representing your brand. So since that's the case, have a tablecloth. Now, again, if you are a farmer and you selling fruits and vegetables, nobody cares as much about what's on your table under this fruits and vegetables. But if you are at an expo or something like that, it does matter. That presentation is key. You probably, as vendors, you typically are storing your totes and things under your table. You don't want nobody walking past seeing all your stuff. Just get a tablecloth so it's covered, okay? Maybe you have your stands for your signs. You'll have any signage that you have, your products, of course. You obviously don't want to leave those at home. Your cash box. You won't have a place to keep the money. Bags, a card reader if you are processing credit cards, chargers, things like that. If you're a food service business, how are you keeping your food hot or cold? Maybe you need plates, cups, napkins, things for samples. Trash bags, gloves, hand sanitizer. You shouldn't be just touching people's food, okay? You got to think about these types of things. Any giveaways, business cards, info cards, ways to collect emails, all of those different things. Seasonal things. If you're at an outdoor event, maybe you need a canopy. There has been times that we've taken a fan with us because it is blazing hot outside and you want that heat index. So do that. I always carry pens and scissors and tape with me because you just never know when you're going to have to tape something down or you need to fix something real quick. And then again, here's a checklist for before event, night before, day of. So before an event, purchase any needed items. Maybe you have to order something. Maybe you're low on inventory. You want to go through and make sure you have those things in place. The night before, check your bins. Like she said, having those bins, I got totes on wheels finally. And I promise you, it has saved me so much time when it's time. I got 2 totes. one with my products and one with all my other stuff. And I drag them jokers with me, and it just makes my life so much easier when I'm doing events now. So, but I want to make sure that they're stocked with everything that they need. And if I can, depending on what it is, I load it in my car the night before. So in the morning, I ain't got to do nothing but get up and go. And typically, because we have samples, I'm getting up in the morning and making samples so that I can get ready to go. So I don't want to be loading my car in the morning as well. The day of, have some water, have some snacks. Again, you may support another business, but you don't want to go broke trying to spend money because you ain't bring a snack with you at an event, okay? So think about those things. You want to have water with you and have a jacket. You don't know if it's going to be cold or hot, so stick those things in there. Make it a branded jacket, so then if you got to toss it on, you still see your logo, okay? And then after an event, make sure you're counting your inventory, count your cash, obviously, and follow up on any leads that you have. Let's see. Try to jump back over to this guy. All right, so that's just a quick checklist. If you're interested in that checklist, I am more than happy to share that with you. You can always shoot me an email or something like that. And then, oh goodness. Sorry, y'all, I got a lot of notifications popping up. It won't let me get to the right button. Here we go. All right. All right, so that's all I have for today. Again, if you have any information, you can email me or give me a phone call here at the SBDC. My email is there listed on the screen, yemisi.anderson@siu.edu. I will be happy to, again, share my experience with you regarding vending events and also, you know, answer other questions about just being a small business owner.
Right. Thank you both so much. What we just got was essentially a master class in how to put your best foot forward and participate in vending opportunities. We heard from the Black Chamber of Commerce of Southern Illinois, Chastity Mays, as well as Yemisi Anderson, who was with the Small Business Development Center at SIU Carbondale. Beautiful thing is they're also business owners, and they're sharing firsthand perspective on how to be successful. They've simplified it very well. They made it simple, and that's powerful. The Business Basics series about it being simple, but it's not always easy. And we want to be serious about presenting ourselves the right way. And we have two excellent presentations, really leaning into the best way to do it. So many of our businesses, minority owned, veteran owned, women owned, and individuals with disabilities, initially engage commercial opportunities at the vendor level. So it's a great way to start, but there are also vendors who are sending their kids to college doing these pop-up style summit expo events. So it's certainly something that we want to take seriously, and we have some great content here today to help you do just that. So we appreciate our two leaders from Southern Illinois sharing this information. You see on the screen contact information for the OMEE Business Development Managers. You see myself, my teammates Edwin Tumlos, Deanna Alfaro, and Michelle Laura White. Please feel free to contact us, as well as our two presenters. If you have questions or concerns, happy to be a resource. And with that, we will say thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.